Hey friends, Mindy here. I have a process video for you today. I'm going to be setting up my journal to work through Subject to Change from Bythewell4God. I am going to be using this traveler's notebook this time. I haven't done this in a while and just thought I would revisit this. I'm going to just kind of create a little junk journal style journal here out of the traveler's notebook that you can get that coordinates with the kit. So I have, I believe I got set 2 with this beautiful lemon pattern. So I just opened it up to the center and opened up the staples. I'm just pulling those out. And I'm going to go through here now, and this is all of the paper that coordinates with the kit. This is the 6x8 size. And I'm going to pull out some that when I turn them horizontally, the pattern will still kind of make sense. So I'm just going to go through here and grab a few. I was kind of toying with this one. The bees on it were really cute, but they were kind of flying in a weird direction if I, turned it. So I will do something else with that paper. Obviously, this one with the lemonade pictures won't work. I have this beautiful trellis one, which actually technically would work, but I just wanted to keep the whole page as it was. So you'll see how I manage that, and just kind of pulling out the ones that I think that I can use. Obviously, this lemon one will work as well. And the patterns on the back are really neutral, so they can kind of go either way. I just pulled out a few sheets of those to tuck into my journal. I'm going to go through here and fold them all in half really quick on the horizontal side. Again, I'm working in a traveler's notebook, so you could do it the other way, but they would just be really, really narrow. So I like when I do this having different sizes of papers and different textures and different things. So I'm going to go through and just fold those and pull out a few other things that I have that I want to include. One of these is this brown paper bag. Bythewell4God was selling these bag of bags for a while. I think they're going to be putting those back in stock if they're not already, but and it just had different kind of bags and glassine envelopes and different things inside. And so I actually saved the paper bag that those came in, and I'm going to use that. I'll just create a little pocket or tuck spot or whatever out of those. I have this craft dot grid paper. I'm going to add a sheet of that as well. I'm going to be using a lot of craft, I think, in this journal as well. And I have this green one, which kind of matches some of the tones of the darker areas of the green, but I decided it was just going to be a little too overwhelming. And then I thought I might add another brown paper bag. I have this really narrow one, but I just felt like it might get just a little bit too bulky having 2 of those bags in there. But I did pull out a glassine envelope. This was just some leftover packaging from months and months ago that I kept because I like the texture and the crinkly bits of it, and so that will make a really good tuck spot or pocket in my little journal here. So I'm going to go through now and pull out a few different pages here from kind of varying areas of the devotional or of the traveler's notebook. Just pulling out a few pages to make room for all of these other elements, and then I'm just going to kind of add them in here. At first I thought I was going to do this one, and then I'm just rehearsing these for the way that I think that they're going to work best in the journal. And I really want to have this trellis one be on the front, so I'm going to just kind of fold it over. So I'm going to keep it vertical the way that it is, and then I just basically create, measured it against the other papers and then folded it where I needed to fold it. And it'll just have, on the back side, there'll only be a couple inches that wraps around to the back, but that will make a good tuck spot or a place that I can actually glue in another piece of paper if I want to. So it still gives me some options, but you can see I'm just kind of rehearsing everything, but I just really wanted that kind of in that first position there. So I'm going to do just a really quick flip so you can kind of see where everything ended up. I have the glassine envelope, I have a couple of pages there together, and different things are going to get added into here as I go, but that's kind of where everything is at right at this point. So I'm pulling out some of these little clips that I got at my local grocery store. I'm going to use those to bind my journal. But before I do that, I want to reinforce the spine just a little bit. These traveler's notebooks can actually take quite a beating when you add things to them, but I have the fabric that coordinates with the kit, and it's so beautiful. So I want to add this blue plaid fabric around, kind of wrapped around the spine. Just going to help reinforce it. It's also just going to make it look, you know, cute by giving it another little layer. So I just tore that down to size, and I'm going to use my Cocoina glue stick. In the past, I've used like Heat and Bond and just kind of ironed it on. That works really well too, but I feel like the Cocoina glue is it's going to work just fine as well. And it was just simple and on my desk. So I just used that, and what I did is I glued it to the spine, or to the front part first, and then I put all the pages back in, and then I'm going to wrap it around. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like pulling too tight along, you know, with all those pages in there. And then I'm just going to add that around the edge, and that's just going to help, like I said, just reinforce everything and also give the cover a bit of interest as well. So now I need to punch my holes. I'm going to be using a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and so in order to do that, I need to make sure that these pages, which are different sizes, are lined up so that they're going to be they're going to hit at least 2 of the holes. So when I'm, you know, so that when I'm sewing it, I'll have a stitch through at least 2 areas of these pages, just to make sure that the pages don't fall out or tear out or anything. So I went ahead and just kind of clipped everything into place. I pulled out this little foam mat. You could use anything really for this. You could use an old book, an old, you know, they even have, like, We Are Memory Keepers has an actual, like, punch board that you can use. I just, this foam thing, I've had it for years, and it just works really well. And I'm just going through here. You could mark and measure all of this stuff if you wanted to. I just did it all by eye. So I went into the middle for my first hole, and then I went about 1 inch, maybe a little bit more, for the other 2 holes. And I did that. I wanted to make sure that I would have 3 for that center piece as well. So I'm going to be using some waxed linen thread here. This is typically what I will use when I'm binding a journal. And you want to do about 2.5 to 3 lengths of the height of your journal. So, and I just threaded my bookbinding needle and left a little tail here, and I went through the middle, and I'm going to go up to the top hole and back into the center here. And you could do this the reverse way if you want your ending strings to be on the outside, and I've done that before, but this time I just left them on the inside. So I was struggling just a little bit here. When I took that clip off, I think some things shifted. So I'm just trying to get everything back together. Just went through that top hole all the way down to now the bottom and back out to the outside. And then from this bottom hole, I'll go back through the middle and back into the inside. And it's important when you come back through this that you not come through the thread. You don't want to split your threads, because then you can't pull it tight like you need to. And then you want to make sure that each of these ends is on either side of that long piece of thread that's running down the center, and then just tie it off in a knot. You could add a little bow here if you wanted to, and I left my strings really long because I'm not sure what I want to do. I may want to add some charms or things to the end of these strings. So for now, and until I decide, I'll just leave those along, and that won't bother me. So I'm just kind of folding everything down a little bit, and I'm going to do a really quick flip through now of everything. And as I go through here, I realized that this bag must have slipped, and so it got sewn in there a little bit crooked, but I think I can salvage it. I think I'll be able to fix it as I work through it. It's going to annoy me that it's crooked, but I don't want to have to redo the whole thing, so I'll just fix it as I go. But and I also wanted to add just a little bit more to the outside cover. Again, I'm planning on using some craft and different things on the inside of my journal, so I wanted to add some to the outside as well. And I happen to have, this is like a burlap and lace ribbon, and so I'm just trimming it down. It's one of those ones that has the wire on the outsides, on the edges, and so, but it's really easy. And just, you can see I'm just pulling out the wires. I don't need them in there. So and then I'm just going to measure that, and then I'll cut a second one. I'm going to put one on the front and the back cover, and I'm just going to glue that down. And I will be using what is it, Helmar 450 quick dry to glue this one down. I wanted something a little bit heavier duty than the Cocoina glue. I wasn't sure that was how that would do with this burlap material, but so I'm going to use this quick dry. You could use Fabri-Tac if you have that. I like the quick dry glue actually a little bit better than than Fabri-Tac. They're both solvent glues, and so they can get kind of stringy. But I just like how fast this one dries. So I'm just going to add that to the front and the back. And that is it for me. So if you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, and that'll let you know when I have other videos being posted. And until next time, bye-bye.